Okay, so today we're going to be doing a basic tutorial over the app ComLi. So we're going to start by clicking on the icon to enter the app, and we're brought to the home page of ComLi, which asks, what would you like to do? And under it you can see a variety of links for all the different pages that the site offers, plus a brief description of what the app's doing and its basic purpose. So to start, we're going to test an article. So we'll click on the link, and we're brought to this page here where you can copy text in that you would like to test. So we're actually going to be testing some of Donald Trump's tweets. So we're going to go up to source, and we're going to hit Twitter, and then we're going to go to type of article, and it's going to be a social media post. So then we're just going to copy and paste the text in right here, and then we're also going to figure out what do we want to test this text for. So we're going to choose an option, and then you see the little question mark pop up. So as you can see under choose an option, there's leading language, political trend, biased language, and unethical comments. So in case you're confused about any of that, you can click on the question mark, and you will be directed to this journalistic definitions page. And this page contains the definitions of some of the words that were just under the options that you might not be so sure about. So here you can find definitions for unethical comments, biased, you might be able to see what leading questions are. It's just brief definitions, so that way you have an idea of what our computational linguistics system will be testing the words in your article for. So now let's go back, and we're going to click biased language, and we're going to pick unethical comments. So now let's check our text. So as you can see, now we're on a different page, and we're seeing @real Donald Trump's tweets that have been run through the computational linguistics system. So we're going to look at the comment section where the system actually tells you what it found, and we're just going to go through it step by step. So as you can see, haters and fools is highlighted in red, and afterwards it says unethical description, which is one of the factors that we were testing the text for. So the linguistic system found that there were unethical descriptions in his text. So the next line says, they're always playing politics, bad for our country. After this it says biased language, which is another one of the factors we were going to test the text for. It also says that there should be there, so it just pointed out a spelling error. You can also see that fake news media is highlighted in red for unethical description, as well as crooked Hillary Clinton. And then on the bottom you can see in a different color, misspelled reset button, and it just shows that the system was unable to determine the meaning of that specific phrase. So then on the very bottom you can see the grading scale, and you can see a red star that's very close to 0. So if this was a good article, you'd have a green star that'd be very close to 100, but since so many factors were found that were unethical or biased, the red star close to 0 shows that this does not receive high marks on the grading scale. So now let's go back to the home page, and let's explore a news source. So this link brings us to a new page that's kind of like a Google search engine, where you can type in any news source that you might want to find, and our system would analyze the news source and bring you to a different page to help you better understand how this site would function. So we're going to look up The Onion. So let's start typing in, and we can see The Onion is the second option down. So now we're directed to this page that gives a brief bio and just a bunch of information about The Onion. So as you can see, it shows a brief biography of what The Onion is right here. It also gives you its political leaning, target audience, and funding. Now these factors are important, especially for The Onion, because it's satire and entertainment news, and it leans slightly liberal, which is important. So when you're reading content on The Onion, you might expect to find attacks on the conservative party rather than the liberal, and that's good to know when you're reading through the content of any news source. It also tells you the target audience, and here we actually have a quote that the system found from a different article that says, we tend to target the Zeitgeist more than anything. And so this just shows that the target audience is the Zeitgeist more than anything, and it just gives you an idea of who The Onion is trying to target. And for the funding, it shows that it is partly owned and it has a grant from YouTube, and so it just helps you have background of whether it's a government-funded program, whether it's privately owned, helps you have an idea of how the content might be altered because of the funding. And also on the bottom, it shows no recent controversies for this site. However, if there were recent controversies, they would be shown there. And then the Onion is also, the computational linguistics system has also selected a sample article from the Onion, and it has actually been run through our computational linguistics system, so that way you can have an idea of what the content might be doing. And at the bottom there's a disclaimer that shows it's been tested for biased language and unethical comments. And for the full article, you can click here. And so if you wanted to run the full article through the computational linguistics system, what you would do is you could take this text, all of it, and copy and paste it into the original page that we were just on and run it through the system like we did before. However, what we just saw is just a sample. And then on the side, you also have links to different articles from the Onion, so that way if you want to further look into some of their work, you can. And the question mark for the terms page is also right at the top again. And another part of the journalistic definitions page is that if you're still confused about anything, there's this nice little Ask Us button right down here. And in the Ask Us page, you can email the ComLi officials and you can direct us any questions or concerns that you have about our program, and we will get back to you within 24 hours. So that is a simple rundown of the app ComLi, and thank you for taking part of this tutorial with me.